bunch of gratitude. We dropped gratitude all over in the practice. And I don't know if what that did for anybody else, but for me, it took me to a different sort of gratitude practice. I feel like I can actually just open myself to this question of what am I grateful for? And things come instead of it being like, what am I grateful for? Like a thinking, it was like a just an opening. And then I was thankful for a lot of weird things, like not weird things, but little things that are things I don't typically think of to write about in gratitude practice. So today, just like it, if we think about, as we practice that gratitude, we became this sort of generators of gratitude. As you become more grateful and you can drop in that way and let it become an energetic thing, we start to radiate. We start to extend out from ourselves what we're focusing on, what we're building up in ourselves. So today I want to focus on this word radiate. Just think about, what are you radiating out into the world? What kind of energy do you bring to a room? What kind of, and obviously we all have our ups and down moments, but what kind of energy do you want to radiate in a room? What do you want to bring? So get really intentional about that. And maybe take a moment, rooting into your seat in some way, close your eyes, and think through that. Perhaps it's simply your intention that you've been working in, that you want to radiate out into the world. And maybe it's something different today. Maybe it's just for today, or this week, or this month, who knows? Just drop in that question, what do I want to radiate? And if you need some help thinking about that, think about somebody in your life who was that sort of sparkly, charismatic, maybe charismatic is the wrong word, but that kind of person who knows, tuned in, really listens to you, super present, always was radiating joy, radiating care, radiating something that you are attracted to. And think about that person for a moment. And in your mind's eye, notice how they move through the world. And then maybe draw that aspect into what you want to radiate into the world. So as we begin, let's take our left hand and hold it out in front of us like we're offering something right in front of your heart. And then place your right hand over top, just like you're cupping something sacred right between your hands. And as you sit tall, lengthen up through the crown of the head, leave some space there and begin to visualize a tiny glowing light there between your hands. It can be any color or texture or shape, whatever comes to mind at first. And then with each breath, begin to feel this pulsating of this light, this radiating light. Just being with it there. And see it start to expand. Between your hands as it pulsates, see if you can feel that. And then begin to allow it to grow with each breath, expanding, visualizing it increasing in size, and allow your hands to become a little bit more activated by this energy growing, and allow your hands to move slightly apart with each breath. As this ball of radiant light grows and grows, hands begin to part more and more. Maybe you feel this pulsating energy of the light. Maybe not. Let the hands come a little wider. So now they're to the edges of your frame, maybe. And with the light growing and growing in your mind's eye, it's a big circle, so it's beginning to encompass your whole body. And your arms can begin to expand slowly with breath out to the side, inside of this visualization of this pulsating, growing, radiant light. Until your arms are wide, wide, wide. No rush. Take your time. Expand. See your whole self encompassed inside of this radiant light. And know that that's how you move through the world. What energy you bring to the room radiates out beyond you. Reach out wide, 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 maybe with some effort, really wide, super big. And then begin to slow motion, bring the hands back to cover the heart. So bring this ball of light as it shrinks down, 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 not in intensity, but in size. Bring your hands over your heart, bringing this energy right into your heart, one hand over the other. Just be with that for a few rounds of breath. Allowing yourself to fill up with this intention, this thing that you want to radiate into the world, into your life, into everyone you meet. Connect to the breath as the hands move up and down, seeing your whole self filled with this light, from the toes to the head to the fingertips. And then exhale your chin towards your chest. Ease the eyes open. And inhale, arms and gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart. Rock your weight a little side to side. Let's inhale, arms down to go up one more time. Bring right hand to left knee, easy seated twist. Root down into the left fingertips, rise up through the crown of the head. Let your heart shine out toward the left. And then sweep the left arm up and over, peek down at the right knee. Reach out through the left hand, and then on your inhalation, come up. Bring one hand to each knee, belly button towards spine, round, chin toward chest. Let the shoulders sink away from the jawline. You can trace your chin side to side a little to open up the back of the neck. And then pull yourself forward, seated cow pose, which feels totally different than regular cow pose. And then inhale, arms down to go up. And left hand to right knee, right hand behind, rooting down in right hand, rolling right shoulder open, maybe bending that left elbow a little bit to open up a little bit on the back side of the heart, that left scapula. Turn, 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 radiating out through your heart center toward the right. And then inhale, right arm up and over, peek down at the left knee, stretching the whole right side body. Soften the left shoulder away from the jawline. Reach out through the right fingertips. And once more, hands to knees, rounding into seated cat. Go all the way back, elongating the arms, and then pull your heart forward, lift the gaze, shoulders draw back. Come into center, spin the legs to one side, come up to table pose, rooting down into the hands, and from here in table pose, easy cat-cow, belly button toward spine, chin toward chest. Pausing at the top of cat pose and just rock your weight a little bit side to side. Let's bring this barrel idea of the chest in, thinking about your right side ribs shifting over to the right and then down toward the earth and over to the left and back up to the sky, around a couple more times in this direction. Finding some supple movement in all the ways the spine can move, and then we'll shift in the opposite direction. Bring this roll in the opposite direction, leading with the ribs. And a couple more times. when you're ready, get into your shoulders. So let your elbows bend and just shift back and forth a little bit. Your shoulders drop down and up. So sort of steering your shoulders in sort of circles. Get them really open today. So let's come into neutral. Get your right hand in center. Lift your left hand up to the sky. Lift, 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 lift as high as possible without forcing, and shift your right side ribs over to the right side of the mat. It's likely you've shifted over to the left to get that left arm up. And then from here, so left arm comes under, thread the needle, look over to the right, bring it to the right hand. Fix the long edge of the right arm on the mat. Pull your left side ribs slightly back over toward the long edge of the mat. Bring it down into the right hand, lift the left hand up to the sky, and then spin it forward. We're gonna do like a big Elvis circling arm, just a couple of times. Easy does it. Juice it up the shoulder, and then reverse the circle. Bring that left arm down, rock your weight a little side to side. Left hand moves a little bit more towards center. Right arm reaches up. Now notice your right hips shifting over to the right. Shift them back into center. Let the shoulder do the work, not the hips. And then, once you got it nice and open, reach up through the fingertips a little higher. And one more breath. Sink right hand down underneath. Left arm in, look to the left. Sink that right forearm toward the earth and root it down. Pull the right side ribs back over toward the long edge of the mat. One more breath here. Press into the left hand, arms rise, and sweep the arms in that big, weird Elvis rocking out circle. A couple of times in one direction. Radiating out, and then the opposite direction. And then when you're ready, both hands come to the ground. From here, turn the toes under and walk your hands forward 3 or 4 inches, middle fingers pointing straight forward. Let's start with gecko hands again. I think this is something we easily forget. So draw your hands back a little closer to you for a moment. Come up onto the fingertips and imagine gecko's little fingers. They have those big suckers on them. So we're on just the fingertips. Push your pointer forward. And now just the root of your pointer is on the ground. The rest of the roots of your fingers are not on the ground, just the pointer. So your fingers are starting to spread wide, and then push the middle finger forward. Now the root of that finger's down. Spin the ring finger around, it comes down, then the pinky finger, and you can feel into the pads of all those hands, all those fingers at the root of the finger, and then spin the thumb around, and now see how widespread your hands are. Notice if you can feel this arch at the center of your palm, helping you to build a great structure for your down dog. So now lift your knees off the ground and sink back. You're probably a little closer than normal, so step back a little bit farther, 3 or 4 inches, and then let go of the weight of the head. Now inhale, rise up onto the heels, shift forward into plank, let your feet move back a little bit if they need to get your right distance for down dog with these widespread hands. Now belly button comes towards spine, downward facing dog. Release the heels, feel into your hands and just notice the difference in the energy drawing up the arms. And then come up high onto your tiptoes, reach your tail up to the sky. Now bend both knees, pull the thighs back toward the wall behind you. Inhale up high to the tiptoes, bend both knees, and pull the thighs back toward the wall behind you. One more time, just like that. Lift the heels high, then bend the knees a lot, and then pull the thighs back. Nice deep down dog. Release all the weight of the head. One more breath. On your inhalation, let's raise the right leg up into the sky. Sink the left heel. Reach, reach, reach. Sink, sink, sink all at the same time. Opposing forces. On your next exhalation, right foot's gonna sweep up between the hands. From here, left knee comes to the ground. Rise up in the low lunge, shift your hips forward, find a nice deep lunge, and that extra stretch in the front of the left thigh. On your exhalation, let's lift the heart a little bit more. Draw your lower belly in and up. And from here, spin the hands to the ground. Left hand stays down, right hand comes up. Reach up and over. Now see if you can heel and toe your right foot out to the side a little bit more for some spaciousness. And then open across the front of the right shoulder. Just lean back a little bit more. Letting the right shoulder drop behind you only if it feels okay. You want to get really open here. Root down into the left hand. The right hand rises. Open, open, open. Letting it drop back today. And then inhale. Spin it forward up in front of you. Look down at the floor. Reach out through the right hand. And then open it one more time, looking back and up. No forcing, no strain, just invitation. And then right hand comes down to the inside of that right foot. Rooting into the right foot, let's check in. Do we have a happy, healthy right knee? If we do, you roll onto the long edge of the foot. If not, we want to keep that foot right where it is. So just at top of lizard pose, we're early in the practice, so just check in with that right hip. If not, you can keep hugging it in and pushing the floor forward with the hands. There's plenty of work to be done there inside of the top of lizard. And you can also roll out if that feels good. So just notice. Now hug, if your knee is rolled out to the side, hug the right knee toward the left knee, even though they're sort of in space. We're just sort of scissoring our knees toward each other, even though they're not moving much. One more breath. Root into the right foot. Lift the left knee, step back to plank pose. Everybody's favorite. From plank pose. Lengthen from the heels through the crown. Draw your lower belly in and up. On an inhalation, we'll shift forward on the toes, lower all the way to the ground for my favorite, wide cobra. So bring your arms out wide, tuck your tops of your feet down, and fingertips root. So come up onto the fingertips, not flat hands for a moment. And tuck your chin towards your chest and walk your hands maybe a smidgen closer than you think. And then lift up, rooting into the fingertips. Wide cobra. Let's draw our right shoulder forward, look to the left. Inhale up, left shoulder forward, look to the right. Inhale up, no rush. And right side, up, left side, up. Hold in center, not the breath, just the pose. And then exhale, lower. Let's see if we can walk our fingers a little closer. Maybe, maybe not. Stay rooted in the tops of the feet, chin tucks toward chest, and we unfurl, arms to straight. Shoulders still stay away from ears, so there's a tendency to bring them up higher since we move them closer. Shoulders away from ears. Exhale, lower. Maybe a millimeter closer, maybe not. Let's see. Straighten the arms. Exhale, lower. And hands root, upward dog. Roll through toes, maybe, downward dog. Can you drop into your gecko hands, even though we're not going to go through every step? Just notice, stretch out through the tail, lift your heels up, and tailbone reaches high up toward the ceiling. Press your torso back towards your thighs. Release the crown of the head, and on your exhale, sink the heels down. 2 breaths here. Left leg reaches up into the sky. Sink the right heel low. Reach, reach, reach. Find those opposing forces of the sinking of the right foot and the rising of the left foot. Notice your energy moving down and up all at the same time, radiating out from your center. Release the crown of the head. And on your next exhalation, let's spin that left foot up between the hands. Right knee to the ground, rise in that low lunge. Now, tuck the belly button in, heart lifts, hips shift forward. Breathe. Maybe lift your heart a little more, maybe not. Play with your edge. On an exhalation, let's spin the hands back to the ground. Left hand spins up to the sky. And from here, we're gonna root in that right hand and open across the left shoulder. Feel free to heel and toe your left foot over toward the long edge of the mat for a little more space so you can lean back. Gentle with that shoulder, so don't let it creep up into the jaw or the neck. Let it move down and away and open up. You can play with that right hand, pushing it into the floor toward the right if you like. Spin yourself a little farther open. And then inhale, look down at the floor, reach your left hand forward, all the way forward through those fingertips. Reach, and then inhale it open one more time. Notice your right shoulder, we're not gonna collapse into it. We're gonna keep that nice and engaged from the hand all the way to the base of the neck. Nice long space. Open, open, open. And then exhale, left hand spins to the ground. Playing with the top of lizard. Happy, healthy left knee, we can roll onto the long edge. Not so much, we keep the foot rooted, and we can play with pushing the floor forward, and you can dome the back a little bit for a stretch, drop the chin toward the chest. So your choice. Just here for a few breaths. Breathing in. Breathing out. And on your next exhalation, we'll lift the right knee and step back to plank. From plank pose, roll the heels to the left, right hand to the sky. Reach the right hand up and over, lifting the hips, stretching out the whole right side body. Reach, reach, reach. On an exhalation, sweep that right hand back toward the hip and then down around to the floor. Plank pose. Heels roll to the right, left hand reaches to the sky. Reach it up and over. Maybe the hips rise as you root down more into the right hand. On an exhalation, we'll swim that left hand back toward the hip and then down toward the ground. From here, lower halfway. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Walk your hands a little closer to your feet. Sink the heels, just like 4 inches or so. Sink the heels more. Just short down dog for a moment. Inhale up high to the tiptoes, lift the tail up toward the sky, and then sink the heels low. Inhale, lift the heels up, and sink. One more breath, lift the heels high, and sink. Walk your hands back to your feet. Release the hands toward the floor and the head toward the floor. One more breath. Inhale, fingertips to the ground, heel and toe your feet to the long edges of the mat. Soften your knees a lot. So sink your hips in line with your knees if possible, or anywhere above is perfect. Kind of a nice deep squat, let your toes radiate out. And then from here, let's roll up, chin toward chest, one vertebra at a time, straightening the legs as we go. Easy does it. Inhale, arms upward. If you get dizzy, that hand over the bridge of the nose and the forehead is perfect. And then exhale, hands to heart. For a moment, just make a little space between your hands once more. Just feel into that energy. One more time, just remembering it. Radiating out to the world. Release, arms down to go up. Exhale, spin the arms around behind the back and clasp rolling shoulders. Open, open, open. See if you can think about that bowling ball in your hands and lean back, a little back bend. And then we'll take the forward fold. Releasing the crown of the head toward the floor, rooting into the feet, but soft bend if you need in the knees, of course. Root down into the feet. Move your weight into the center of the foot instead of leaning back into the heels. On
an exhalation, bend your knees a lot, sinking the hips toward level with the knees, maybe, and then rise up. Hands come, stay clasped behind us. See if we can stand up here, hands clasped in this sort of wide chair pose, maybe wide squat, whatever you want to call it. From here, let's reach our hands up to the sky and exhale, press the air away, rise up. Clasp your hands again with the opposite finger on top. So probably the more uncomfortable finger, the less practiced finger. Roll the shoulders open, lean back, look up. Exhale, fold. Notice if your shoulders are dropping into your jawline. If they are, lift them more toward the sky. Weight moves to the center of the foot. One more breath. Exhale, bend the knees, come up. Keep the hands clasped if possible. Coming up into that squat. Rock your weight a little side to side. Find the squat and then inhale, arms up. Exhale, press the air away. Comfortable in the feet. We're going to practice once like last week. We practiced breath of joy. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, halfway. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms come together through the legs and we rise. Halfway and the whole way. Halfway, the whole way. So continue with your own breath at your own pace. This is a breath practice that is also a kriya. So yoking breath to movement is part of it, but it's also to build heat in the body. And it's called breath of joy for a reason, because it's a little silly. It can feel a little bit like when we were kids, and it might help some joy to bubble up in you. And so just a couple more times. Notice your breath. Speed it up or slow it down based on your energy. Couple more. You got this. And when you're ready, stay at the top and let the arms just swing. Seriously, don't stop them. Just let them swing and let that momentum, same as that radiating energy out from you, just let them swing. We're not helping them, just waiting until they're done. Finding that still point. When it happens, when the energy stops. Rock your weight side to side, bringing your feet into mountain pose. Spin your palms open, radiating out through the fingertips, rooting down through the feet, rising up through the crown of the head. Find that stacking, shoulders over hips, over knees, over ankles. Chin draws back slightly, and just notice the parts of the body that turned on, that fired up. On your next exhalation, we'll bend the knees, tap the ground, find your chair pose, and exhale, sink a little deeper, find your edge, root down through the tail. So thighs are parallel, toes are pointing straight forward. Remember, we talked about that middle finger pointing straight forward. Here it's the middle, well, it's about the middle toe pointing straight forward. And our thighs are parallel. We can still see our toes in front of our knees. And arms are alongside ears if they can be, or forward if they need to be, or softer than that if they need to be. So from here, draw your belly button in and up, sink a little lower. Maybe it's a millimeter, maybe it's a hair. Inhale, rise up 3 or 4 inches. Coming into an easy spot for you. And then exhale, find your edge again. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sink lower. Inhale, rise up 3 or 4 inches. Exhale, sink. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. As you rise, let your arms spread out a little wider. As you sink, bring them a little closer together. Remembering that pulsing of that energy. Inhale, up, radiate out. Exhale, sink, dig deep. Inhale, radiate out. Exhale, sink, belly button towards spine. One more time, rise up. And one more time, sink, find your edge and hold there. But keep the smooth and flowing breath. Can you find it? One more breath here. And dive into the pool, standing forward bend. Tuck pinkies into the elbow creases, releasing the crown of the head. One more breath. Hands walk us forward into plank pose. And let's walk our hands back into forward fold. Release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, walk yourself forward into plank. Spreading your hands wide like that gecko. On your exhalation, walk your hands back just one more time. Release the weight of the head down. Inhale, halfway lift, elongating the spine. Exhale, fold. Big gecko hands walk you forward into plank. So hands are right beneath shoulders, but just a little bit wider than shoulder distance. And now from here, let's roll our heels to the left. Right hand to the sky. One more time, open up. Let that arm drop back behind you. And then spin the arm forward, look down toward the left hand. Reach, reach, reach. Maybe the hips rise, maybe they don't. And we'll spin that right hand down to the ground. Pausing in plank pose, elongate from heels through crown. Yep, yep. And then on your next exhalation, heels roll to the right. Left arm to the sky. Reach, and then see if it's okay to drop the left shoulder behind you. If it's too much, let it go. Don't do it. Listen to your shoulder. On your next exhalation, reach it forward up over your head. Maybe look down toward the right hand. Maybe hips rise as you press into that right hand. And then as you exhale, left hand spins down, plank pose. How about some push-ups? Shift forward, lower half. Inhale, press to the top. Feel free to skip these. Draw your knees to the ground if you like. Exhale, lower half. Inhale, press to the top. Exhaling, lower half. Inhale, press to the top. Shift back to down dog. Stretching out the arms. Draw the knees to the mat. Big toes together, knees apart. And sink down into child's pose. As you sink into child's pose, let your hips rock side to side. And then deepen that by letting your arms move a little bit side to side. Your whole right side ribs move toward the long edges of the mat. And then come for one breath in stillness. Sink the hips toward the heels, release the forehead to the ground, soften the arms. Next inhalation, we'll reach forward and come up into plank pose. On an exhalation, lower half. So wait for it. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. One more breath. Right leg floats high. Right knee bends. We'll stack the hip now. Left heel will sink. Now those opposing forces are your right knee and your left heel. Weight of your head, rooting of your hands. As you're ready, we'll exhale, right knee to tap the right elbow for a breath. Get in there, Jim. And then send that right leg up to the sky. Let's restack the hip for a moment and let that left heel sink even more. And then straighten the right leg. We'll wind it into center to hug it up toward our chest. Root down in the hands, root down in the left foot, and send that right leg up into the sky. Bend the knee and stack the hip once more. Sink that left heel low. And we're gonna wind that right knee a big circle all the way around to the left elbow to tap. Pause. One more breath. And wind it high once more. Left heel sinks. Let's step our right foot up between our hands mercifully. And root down into your left ball of the foot. And we'll rise in crescent. How are your arms feeling? Let's bring hands across the wrists and bring the hands to Press together the palms, pull apart. So let the, oh, God bless you. Thank goodness you weren't in this pose all the way. Sneezing in yoga is super challenging. Press your hands into each other and pull the elbows to the sides. Sink a little lower, find your edge. Soften your face. Can you spread your fingers wide and still keep them in contact with each other? Exhale, unwind. Just let the arms drop. Make some shoulder circles. 2, 3, and now let's lift them to shoulder height. Opposite circles, opposite direction. 2, 3, and then lift them right back up. Spin the left hand to the ground, right arm forward and spins up and back. From here, heel and toe that right foot out toward the side. Open across the right shoulder again. Hug the right hip in toward the midline. That wants to spin out. And if there's any pressure in your left knee, just soften it. Bend it a little. Open across the heart. And then exhaling, right hand spins down to the inside of the right foot. Left knee comes to the ground. You can roll onto the long edge of the foot if that's a happy, healthy knee or not. Just staying here for a breath or two. The top of lizard. And hug that right foot toward the left knee or the right knee toward the left knee. Just notice how that feels. Elongate the spine. When you are ready, let's draw the right knee in and step the right knee back next door to the left knee for a knee down plank. Tuck the toes. And from here, elbows draw back toward the waist, lowering all the way to the ground. Uncurl the toes, plant your left hand next to your chest, reach back for your right foot, push the right foot into the right hand and lift up. You can keep using, so we're in a half bow pose. So our thigh, right thigh's likely off the ground. Maybe, maybe not. Heart lifts, head lifts, right shoulder's opening, left hand's a help. And if we don't need it, reach it forward. Spin that left hand back. Right knee falls down to the ground. Push into upward dog. Roll through the toes, downward dog. Easy does it. Sinking back, back, back. Releasing the weight of the head, the weight of the heels, the rooting of the arms. One more breath. Left leg reaches high, bend the knee and stack the hip. Sinking that right heel. Palms are spread wide, radiating out from center. Maybe you can even tap into that gecko hand here. One more breath. Exhale, left knee to tap left elbow. Easy does it, no rush. Even though you want to rush. Send that left foot up into the sky. Bend the knee and stack the hip once more. Inhale, straighten left leg. And draw the left knee into center, hugging it up toward the chest. Rounding the back of it as we root down into the hands. And then inhale, left leg reaches high. Bend the knee and stack the hip once more. Sink the right heel. Now think about where your left knee is in space and begin to wind it into all the way around to the side and through center over to right elbow for a pause. And wind it high. Left foot between the hands. And crescent pose feels like a cakewalk. Reach it up. Find it. Now think about stacking your hands in the opposite direction. So wherever your hands naturally go to the opposite, then flip your palms, press them into each other. Find your edge. Explore what can happen in your arms here. So reach out through the elbows. Keep a lot of space for your neck and jaw. Find your edge in the legs. One more breath. Let the arms hang. That feels good. How about some circles in the shoulders with hanging arms? And then lift them to shoulder height, opposite direction circles. And back up to the top. Reach out through that back heel. And we'll spin the right hand to the ground, left hand to the sky. Heel and toe, the left foot over toward the long edge of the mat a bit. Open across the left shoulder. Maybe, maybe not. Still rooted in the right hand, rising through the whole left side body. One more breath. Spin that left hand down to the inside of the left foot. And staying at the top of lizard, we can roll onto the long edge of the foot or not. Keep pressing the long edge of the foot into the floor, so don't let your ankle torque out to the side. On an exhale, draw the left knee in toward, actually we brought our right knee down last time, or knee down last time. Bring your back knee down, sorry, stay there for another breath or two. You almost missed out on a knee down plank. So from here, let's spin the left knee back next door to the right knee. Maybe y'all went there anyway. And from here, elongate from knees through the crown of the head, elbows draw back toward the waist as we lower, easy does it to the ground. Uncurl the toes, take a hold of the left foot or ankle. Root the right hand for some help. Then tuck the chin toward the chest like we do with Cobra. Begin to lift the left shoulder, left thigh, pushing the foot into the hand to the foot. Then bring the head along, the chest along. If your right hand's helping, keep it helping. If not, bring it out in front. Nice long right side body. Push that foot into the hand. Exhale, release it down. Press back to child's pose. Rock your weight a little side to side. We're about to get to our big ta-da today, our big radiating pose. If anybody can guess it, I'll take you out to lunch. Any guesses? No guesses? All right, reaching out through the hand, pull yourself up into plank pose. Now it's gonna get real obvious, so last chance to bet. All right, so from here, we're gonna roll our heels to the side, reaching the right hand up to the sky. Nobody wants to go to lunch with me apparently. Reaching up through the right hand. And then on your exhalation, we're going to pick up or walk your right foot in first, up in line with the long edge of the mat. Reach, reach, reach. Open across the heart, lean back.
So what's it called?
We're not there yet.
Wild thing?
Yeah, that's where we're going. Spin the right hand down. We're going to wild thing. We're not there yet. Step the right foot back.
Let you know where I want to go to lunch.
I'm not sure why we're getting ads because I pay for this, so we'll just ignore this man. From here, we're gonna roll our heels to the left. Left hand to the sky. Reach, reach, reach. So all this prep is to get us to wild thing, yeah? And we'll pick up the left foot, stomp it on the ground, and then open across the heart.
So you just have a little bit different foundation here. Maybe makes it a little more familiar once you arrive. And then exhale.
Left hand back to the ground, stepping back to plank. And let's bend the knees, press back to downward dog. Inhale, lift the heels, ripple forward to plank pose. Roll the heels to the left, right arm to the sky. Float your right hand to your right hip, just easy does it. Pick up your right foot, step it behind you, off the mat likely. Right knee stays bent, left leg stays straight. Open up the right arm. Look up, maybe not. Look down to the left hand if you like. Lift the heart, lift the hips, and roll it back. Doesn't that feel like radiating? Heels roll to the right, left arm to the sky. Now left foot steps behind you. Lift the hips, lift the heart, let that left arm lead. Next, exhale, left hand spins back to the ground. Child's pose, easy does it. We're not done. Sink the hips, rock your way a little side to side, stretching that low back. And release the arms for a moment. Bring the palms together behind the head and root down in the elbows. Rock your weight a little side to side. Next exhale, hands reach forward. And from here, pull your hands a little closer to you. We're gonna rise up into table pose. So draw your belly button up to your spine, walk your knees in a little bit into cat pose. Pausing in cat pose. And then soften into neutral. Hands walk forward 3 or 4 inches, toes turn under, down dog. One more breath. On your next exhalation, let's send that right leg up into the sky. It's time to turn on the afterburners. Bend the right knee and stack the hip. Exhale, right knee toward right elbow. Tap. Easy does it. Send it up into the sky. Bend the knee and stack the hip. Pause for a breath. Exhale. Knee comes to center. Hug it up. And inhale, send it high. One more time, bend the knee and stack the hip. Exhale, wind that knee all the way around in this big S shape up to the left elbow. Pause. Send the left leg straight. Right hand reaches down into the ground, left hand reaches up. Both legs can stay straight. This is another version called Fallen Star. Open out. Radiate out in all directions. Lift your hips a little more. And spin that left hand back, step the right foot back, plank pose. From here, belly button towards spine, heels lift, ripple back to down dog. Okay, anybody having any fun? Lift the left leg into the sky. I'm not waiting for answers. Bend the knee and stack the hip. Reach the left leg way over to the right. Rooting down into the hands, sink in the right heel. On your exhale, left knee comes to tap. Easy does it, just a tap. Inhale, send it up. Bend the knee and stack the hip. Next exhale, we'll wind that knee to center. Hug it up. Inhale, send it high. And bend the knee and stack the hip. Big S shape. Knee comes over to the left and around and over to tap. Right elbow for a pause. Oh, it's really hard. Straighten that left leg. Right arm reaches up, fallen star. Let that left foot scoot out a little bit if it needs to. Right hand is spread wide, left hand is spread wide. Toes can even spread wide. Radiating it out. Next exhale, right hand comes down. Step the left foot back next door to the right foot. Knees come to the ground. Let's sink our hips to our knees. Rabbit pose. Get into a little ball after all that radiating. Chin comes toward the knees, forehead on the ground. Hands can clasp on top of the feet, maybe on top of the arches, or on top of the heels, or on the low back, wherever they reach. One more breath. Yay, we have time for one more round. Reach your hands forward, coming up. Step back to plank. No caffeine, people, 0. Rooting down into the hands and lengthen from the heels to the crown. From here, we're gonna lift our right foot off the ground. Pull yourself into three-legged down dog. Bend the knee and stack the hips. Sink that left heel. We're gonna flip our dog. So root into your hands. You can walk them an inch or so closer to your body if you like. Now, with that right knee lifted, the right foot reaching over to the left, see if you can wiggle your right toes so you can catch them in your peripheral vision. So you know they're there. They're not gonna leave you. So stay rooted in the hands, and then we'll begin to come onto the fingertips of the right hand. Then drop the right foot to the ground on the outside of that, lift and flip your dog. Now both knees can stay bent here. Lots of people can walk right over into a wheel pose. That's not me yet. Lifting the hips, lifting the heart, lifting the gaze. One more breath. Exhale, spin it back into plank. Left foot lifts off the ground. Bringing it into the home stretch. Send the left foot up into the sky. Bending the knee, stacking the hip. Sink the right heel. One more breath. See if you can catch that foot in your peripheral vision. Rooted in the right hand, rising onto the left fingertips. Sink the left foot to the ground. Flip your dog. Left arm reaches open, open, open. We root down through the right hand. Hips rise. Heart rises. Breathe. And exhale. Wind it back to plank pose. Knees come to the ground, big toes together, knees apart. Child's pose. Rock your weight side to side. Forearms come to the ground. Spin your palms inward so you can rest your head on your palms or place them wherever makes sense to you in this child's pose. On your exhalation, root down as your hands rise up, and we'll spin the legs to one side. Legs come out straight in front. Hold on to the backs of the thighs for a moment. Stretch out your arms, lift your legs, half boat or whole boat, your choice. See if you can lower down super slow motion all the way to the ground. Just FYI, I can't, or I haven't been able to. So it's just a try. Maybe it's crazy. I'm sure Ellen's got this. My Pilates friend. Yep, no. Arrive in your own special way. And then once you've arrived on the ground, whew, left leg, right leg in center. So come into mountain pose lying down, right? So feet are flexed, toes are pointing straight up. From here, let's draw our right knee into the chest and give it a big hug. Squeeze it out. Make some ankle circles for that right leg in both directions. And then left hand to right knee, right arm reaches out along the ground at shoulder height to the right, and we draw the right knee across the body to the left. Smooth breath flowing in, smooth breath flowing out. Sinking your right shoulder more and more toward the ground. Yeah, for some reason, Siri thinks I'm talking to him. I don't know, he found something. Reaching that knee over, but no forcing. So the left hand is there just as a guide. It's like a witness rather than being a push, right? It's not pushing, it's just being with that right leg. Listen to the low back, listen to the hip. One more breath here. And then as you begin to come out, begin to bend your left knee and bring the right ankle to the left knee. Coming onto the back, reach through for thread the needle, hold on to the front of the shin, pull back, shoulders sink, more ankle circles if you like, both directions, both feet. One more big breath in, sigh it out, extend both legs up to the sky, drop the feet 6 inches. Inhale, come up, shoulders and arms reaching into a little sit-up. Reach the hands over to the left, drop the feet 6 more inches. lift the feet 6 inches and reach the legs over to the right, and then drop the feet 6 inches. Knees come into the chest for a hug. We'll send that right leg out along the ground, just hugging the left knee now. Big squeeze. Right hand on the outside of the left knee and soften the shoulders. Left arm out at shoulder height along the ground to the left. Left knee comes over to the right, knee down twist. Easy does it. And down doesn't necessarily mean to the floor. It's just moving in that direction. No forcing. Let the left shoulder sink, sink, sink. You can look out over the left arm if you like. And then bringing it into the home stretch. Let's begin to bend the right knee, catching the left ankle, reach up for thread the needle. Get some ankle circles in both directions, both feet. Sink your chin, sink your shoulders. Pull back as much as feels great. You can rock your weight a little side to side if that's helpful. Take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out through the mouth. Nice. Shoulders move away from ears, and we release the feet to the ground. Send your legs out 12 to 18 inches apart. Heels drop, arms out wide. Take up some space today. Radiate out. Breathing in, arriving into your Shavasana. And as you arrive in Shavasana, allow the stillness to be the balance for all the movement. And allow yourself to get what you need here. So take up space, see the whole back body spread along the ground. Soften your face. Breathing in a smooth, deep breath. Allow it to ripple beneath the surface across the front body, softening from the crown of the head across the third eye and down through the center, through the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the belly, and the tailbone. See radiating relaxation going out from all of those points in every direction. Forward, back, side to side, up, down. And then breathing in again, see that same breath in all those points, spreading out wider, spreading down the arms and the legs. Let the arms and legs become heavy as you surrender completely. Gently now begin to wiggle your fingers and toes.
Introduce a nice deep breath to the whole body. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor and ease yourself to your right side. Gently press yourself up to seated as you're ready. Eyes closed. Bring your hands back to that cup shape in front of your heart once more. Just holding this intention, this uniqueness of you, that you are here to radiate out into the world. Hold it for another breath or two. And then press the hands over the heart. Draw chin toward chest, easing eyes open. Inhale, arms and gaze up. Exhale, winding hands to heart. Namaste.